The Premier League is the most expensive, most famous, and statistically most competitive football league in the world. The league is home to some of the best talents in world football in almost every age bracket. So without spending more time on this intro, let's jump straight to the topic of our video: the best under 21 talent of every Premier League club in this season. And what better place to talk about young footballing talents than my beloved Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea is currently a shop, a factory, and maybe also a warehouse of young talents. The club is home to some of the most exciting talents in the football world. Despite finishing 12th last season, sitting on 11th this season, and unable to get the best out of many of these top talents, it still cannot be denied how many exceptionally talented youngsters the Blues have. To put any one of them ahead of others would always be debatable. But for me, the most talented one is the guy who was an unexpected arrival after Chelsea's long pursuit of Moises Caicedo last summer, Romeo Lavia. I know he has just played a few minutes in Chelsea shirt and his injury record is concerning, but I don't think there is any player currently in the first team more talented than the Belgian wonderkid. Lavia joined Chelsea from Southampton last summer, kudos to chief scout Joey Shields. Romeo Lavia is regarded as one of the most talented and gifted midfielders in Europe, and might even have a higher ceiling than most other midfielders in the league. According to Anderlecht's head of academy, Gene Kindermans, Lavia's best position is as a deep-lying playmaker, as he can deliver passes and is always calm on the ball. Lavia thrives in high-pressure situations, winning the ball back with smart tackles, grit, and bursts of speed. He's also skilled in making line-breaking passes. And he is not just a ball winner, he's a threat going forward too. His dribbling skills and line-breaking passes can turn defense into attack in a flash. In the last season, Lavia was among the most accurate midfielders in the Premier League with an accuracy-adjusted pass completion rate of 84%. He's still very young, and I believe that he has not even shown half of his potential yet. He can be a great orchestrator as a defensive midfielder, and even with Southampton, he did show that very well. His passing, ability to receive and move the ball in tight spaces, defending and positioning and ball carrying, he has it all to become one of the very best defensive midfielders in the world. And what makes him a better prospect for an elite defensive midfielder is his press resistance and his progressive passes. He's also very good at winning duels, including aerial duels. He needs more experience, composure, and technical surroundings, I would say, would also help him a lot for a player of his talent and style to reach the top. But that potential and quality are visible. Manchester City, Rico Lewis. He is 19 years old and playing his second season for Manchester City, the second season of Pep's Man City, a place not very famous for giving enough playing time to youngsters. Rico Lewis has been a part of the first team since last season and is the most popular name among City youth, apart from Cole Palmer and Phil Foden. He already has 10 appearances this season, with 5 of them in the starting lineup, even though he has just one start since January 31st. Rico Lewis primarily plays as a right back, but has also been used as a defensive midfielder and even as an attacking midfielder. He looks very calm on the ball, balanced as a right back, good in both defensive and offensive action, excellent in short passing and overall distribution, has always shown a great mentality and gave his all on the pitch. Remember last season he had to replace Joao Cancelo when he went to Bayern on loan. That was really a big job for an 18-year-old who had not played anywhere close to this level or this amount of time in a league. But he did very well, did not make too many mistakes, and did not lose possession often or looked out of place. I know he has looked out of favor in the last few weeks, but that does not impact my opinion of his talent. I don't think there is a single under 21 Manchester City player who is more talented than him, including Oscar Bob. It's tricky to pick one between any of these three. I'll go for Kobe, who is likely to be a generational talent. Kobe Mainoo, a central midfielder, he's 18 years old and from Manchester United Academy. He joined the first team this season and has been simply sensational. He has so many positives, but the biggest one is that he's not as raw as you would expect from an 18-year-old. He looks like a complete midfielder and is too mature for his age. Good in defensive actions and going forward too, calm on the ball, doesn't look nervous or panic, a class player overall. You don't see an 18-year-old player in his first season playing so well consistently. And any praise I hear for him, I don't find that exaggerating, because he plays like a top experienced midfielder. Liverpool, Harvey Elliott. Mind it, he's still 20. He signed for Liverpool in 2019, spent 2021 season with Blackburn Rovers, came back to the first team in 2021, and has been a key part of the squad since 22-23 season. Harvey Elliott is an attacking midfielder and is used by Klopp there as a winger or as a number 8. I personally think he is more suited to a midfielder role, whether an 8 or 10, but he doesn't look out of place in any position. I know many see him as only a squad player and that he's good only due to his energy and utility, but I personally feel he's much more talented, and just because he's a utility player, some of his other qualities become overshadowed. And he may not be more talented than Bradley, Konsa or someone else, but I have seen him play more than rest, so I'll still go with him for now. Arsenal, Ethan and Minari. I don't even want to talk about other options, he's the one, and I believe it should be non-debatable. He's 16 and looked to be the next superstar coming from Hale End. You can understand how highly he has been rated from the fact that Chelsea and Manchester City really tried to persuade him to join them last summer, and Arsenal did well to make him stay. His technicality and composure at his age are astonishing. His ball carrying and positioning are also excellent. His cameo against West Ham was impressive, even though he was coming in to play in a match where Arsenal were 5 or 6 goals up. They had nothing to lose and he was not under pressure to give something extra. But what impressed me was how calm he was, not in a rush to showcase anything. He was making good passes and was able to link up well with everyone. That's the first thing you need to do to perform well in any team. Be comfortable with teammates. And he showed that like he has been playing with them from a very long time. Tottenham Hotspurs, Mikey Moore, who is only 16 and still with Spurs under 18, but his talent is immense. Can be the biggest Spurs talent since Kane, but he will maybe take 1 or 2 more years to get into the first team, so he is not in the list. And my pick is Destiny Udogie. Left back signed by Tottenham in 2022, but stayed at Udinese till 2023 for a season-long loan. In his first season with Spurs, Udogie is already one of the key players of Ange's squad. At 21, he is one of the most technically gifted defenders in the league. He also has a really great pace. He is very athletic and physically dominant player, yet he is technically excellent too. One of the best left backs in the league and one of the most complete left backs as well. He is also good in 1v1 and has been decent against some of the best wingers in the league. Still 21 and playing his first season, it's fair to expect more from him in the future. Newcastle United. Tino Livramento is great shout, but I'm going with Louis Miley. Louis Miley, I want to use the line of CyberDan0497 on our soccer on Reddit. First player to score for Newcastle that was born after Shearer retired. He's the youngest player to score for Magpies and is currently 17. He's also the youngest player to start for Newcastle in the Champions League. Louis Miley is a midfielder coming from Newcastle Academy and has so far played in 16 matches with 14 in the starting 11. A central midfielder and can also be used as a defensive midfielder. Whenever he gets the opportunity, he has shown how big an asset he can be for the club, whether in pre-season last summer or during this season, even when he was playing against some of the big clubs and battling against far more experienced players on the pitch. Despite his young age, he shows a great level of maturity and discipline. He's really good on the ball and has great composure at his age. This 442 video on him is really good to understand how good he is. Highly recommended. Aston Villa, Morgan Rogers. 21 years old, joined Aston Villa in this winter window from Middlesbrough. Was a top scorer in the EFL League Cup this season while playing for Middlesbrough. Morgan is a winger but can play anywhere in the attack. Known for his positioning and finishing, and is a good passer as well. Very good at receiving the ball, a very important thing in the modern football. He has a great first touch and the ability to scan his surroundings. In my view, he is what I call a proper winger. Likes to take on defenders, exploit defense, take risks around the opposition box, and be a constant goal threat. Brighton, Valentin Barco. Barco joined Brighton in January from the Argentine giant Boca Juniors, but the 19-year-old has been one of the most sought-out left-backs in Europe since last summer and was heavily linked with Manchester City before joining the Seagulls. Naturally, a left-back, he can also play as a left winger. Barco is very good offensively with pace, dribbling ability and surprising strength. He is difficult to dispossess and rank in the top 99% of fullbacks for successful dribbles per 90 minutes. And while he has a good range of passing, his main strength lies in short passes. I also understand La Pausa very well. Brentford, Yahor Yermolik. At age 20, he is regarded as one of the biggest talents in Ukraine. Yahor has played 15 matches for Brentford, 3 of which came in starting 11. He was a very highly rated player before arriving in England from Ukraine and is regarded by many as one of the most creative and technically gifted teenagers in Eastern Europe. He is a central midfielder, more on the side of technical players, and is a good dribbler too. I know he's still not playing enough minutes and you may put someone ahead, but I think it's only a matter of time for him to become an integral part of the team and start getting the hype he had in Ukraine. Fulham, Jonathan Essenja. 17-year-old left-back in Fulham youth team, just one appearance for Fulham, which came off the bench. While a left-back, he's a very good shooter and good on the ball too. I do not have much details to talk about him due to his limited minutes or info available online, but whatever I was able to gather, I believe he's the best under 21 player of Fulham. Crystal Palace, Matheus Franca. From Brazil and 19 years old, a wonderkid from Flamengo joined Crystal Palace in the summer. The Brazilian had to wait until 21st October 23 to meet his debut for the Eagles, and all his appearances for the club have came off the bench except one start against Chelsea. But even with his limited playing time and his injury record, fans have been hyped up since his arrival. He is what you consider a traditional Brazilian forward. He brings skills, enjoys running with the ball and toying with opponents. His signing was considered a huge coup by the Eagles, but an area of concern for him has been fitness. Franca has a history of missing so many matches due to injury, but his talent is very clear and really promising. If things go as per plan, then in less than a year, Crystal Palace can have one more lethal attacker in their squad. West Ham. Divine Mubama. Divine Mubama came from West Ham Academy and has been featured for the senior side occasionally from 22-23 season. Mubama is a centre forward with a height of 6 feet. He is good in physicality, has a very good positioning sense, and is excellent at using his height for scoring headers. His finishing style has been compared to that of former West Ham player Bobby Zamora. Divine also contributes off-ball and through his runs. His mentality and attitude have also been praised by head coach David Moyes. Bournemouth. Milos Kerkez. The 20-year-old joined AFC Bournemouth in the last summer window. Play as a left back or left wing back. In only his first season, Kerkez is already getting the attention of many top English clubs, including, obviously, Chelsea. Kerkez performs the defensive job of a left back very well and has one of the best defensive stats of a left back in the league. But where he ranks much higher is his ability to cover his line, going forward, making crosses and aerial duels. He is really good in ball carrying and be a threat in the opposition box. It will not be a surprise if he moves to a bigger club in the upcoming window just after his first season with Cherries. Everton. Jared Banthwaite. I know he's 21 and will turn 22 in June, and you may go for Yusuf Shermeti, who is another excellent talent. But Banthwaite looks like someone who is destined to play in a starting role as a centre-back for a top club. A 6'5" giant, Banthwaite is really like a rock standing in front of an opposition attack. He excelled in almost every area of defense: duels, aerial battles, interceptions, tackles, clearance, 1v1, almost everything. While he is more of a traditional defender, but is really good on the ball and in distribution as well. As per WhoScored.com, of the 110 outfield players to have started 15 plus matches in the Premier League this season, only Jared Banthwaite is yet to be dispossessed of possession. Considering limited time, I will not discuss more, but he really is one of the best defenders in the league and a very important for Everton's survival this season. Nottingham Forest. Anthony Elanga, another 21, but again, I had difficulty getting to know more about someone else as good. Rodrigo Ribeiro is another very talented prospect, but on loan, so he's off our list. Elanga has a strong pace, is suited for a team playing counter-attack like Forest, and is also good in off-ball actions. Wolves. Nathan Fraser, 19 years old, his main position is centre forward. Currently, he is very raw and needs not only more playing time, but also patience and a plan like Brighton does for its youth players. Someone who need to be developed well and can become the next big thing. Judging him just from his performances may not be a correct approach for now, but he is a really good prospect, the talent is immense, and I expect him to have a breakthrough in 1-2 years. Burnley. James Trafford. Personally, I still cannot understand why Burnley were so rushing to sign him. James was one of the best players of under-21 Euros last year, was in the team of tournament, and who could forget his masterclass in the final where he introduced him to the football world. So the talent is there, but he needs more time. He comes from City Academy, but before joining Burnley, he had only played in League One, the third tier of English football. So giving him a starting spot in a Premier League team, regardless of their position, was always a risky decision. Watching him play, it is fair to say that most of his mistakes come from his inexperience. Otherwise, he is really good on the ball, which is a key reason company brought him. He does not make rush passes, has a good distribution, and can be a great shot stopper too. He needs time, but has the attributes to be a successful goalkeeper in the modern football, where goalkeepers are expected to be more involved in the build-up and be good with the ball. Sheffield United. Oliver Ablaster, 19-year-old midfielder born in Sheffield and came from Sheffield United Academy. Ollie came back to Sheffield this January from the League One club Port Vale. Ollie is a central midfielder who can play well as a double 6 or a number 8. Excellent at dribbling, ball carrying, doesn't lose possession easily, has a great acceleration and is very mature for his age. When he was in Port Vale, he was widely regarded as the best player in League One and became the heart of the club. He's brilliant in and around the opposition box too. He's not a one-dimensional player or someone who can only fit in a particular system, which is my biggest reason to appreciate him that much. He's good in physicality, stays involved in the match until full time, has technical abilities, and will always be a threat in the opposition half. Luton Town, Zach Nelson. 18 years old midfielder, he started getting popular in 2022 when he was in the Luton Town youth team. Signed his first professional contract for the Hatters in summer of 2023 and a contract extension last month. Since his youth days, Zach's been considered a huge talent for Luton, but not just coaches or journalists, but also local fans. While the 18-year-old is yet to play for the senior team, he is one of the brightest prospects of the club and continues to impress through his performances at youth level. That's all. We'll see in few years where they all end up and how right or wrong I was. I hope you liked this video. If that's the case, please ensure to like and share this with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more such videos.